Hello everyone, today is day 1 of CodeDrift and now we are going to solve the problem named Find the Rival. So in this problem, there are n contenders in a reality show for the finale and each contender has a score of AI that they had earned throughout the show. Now, each of the contender want to know who is the rival for them. That is which contender has the highest score other than them in the show. Return an array where ith index should contain the rival score from the show. And here the constraint on this problem is that n, which is the number of contender, is from 2. So there are at least 2 contender and there are always less than 10 to the power 5 contenders. And AI, which is the score earned by individual contender, is always between 1 to 10 to the power 5. Now let's take an example to understand this problem. Now let's take an example of n equal to 7 and a equal to 1, 11, 10, 9, 3, 12, 9, 3, 12 and 5. So in this example there are 7 contenders and the score of the first contender is 1 and the score of second contender is 11 and so on. Now each of these contender want to find the rival for them. So rival for a contender is the contender with the highest score other than that contender. Now in order to find our answer, what we can do is that we can iterate over all the index of array A, and at each iteration we are going to fix an index, then we are going to iterate over all the index other than that one index, and we are going to calculate the maximum element among them. So let's say we have created a array answer to store our final answer, and at each iteration we are going to create a variable max. So max is going to store the maximum number other than the element stored at that specific index. So in the first iteration we are going to fix this index. So the first number is 11, which is greater than this 0. So we are going to replace this 0 with 11, and then we will go to the next element, which is 10. 10 is not greater than 11, so we will not replace anything. Then we will go to the next element, which is 9. 9 is also less than 11, so we are not going to replace anything. Then we will go to the next element, which is 3. 3, we can see that 3 is also less than 11, so we are not going to replace anything. Then we will move forward to 12. So this 12 is greater than this 11, so we are going to replace this 11 with a 12. And then we will go to the next element, which is 5. 5 is also less than a 12, so we will not replace anything, and we will at the end write 12 here. And in the second iteration we are going to fix this element, and then we are going to iterate over all the other index. So first we will iterate over this index, and again we are going to create a variable max, and we will initialize it to 0. So this 1 is greater than this 0, so we are going to replace this 0 with a 1, and then we will go to the next element, which is a 10. So this 10 is greater than 1, so we will replace it with a 10, and then this 9. So 9 is less than 10, so we will not change anything. Then we will move forward 3. 3 is also less than 9, so we will move forward this 12. So this 12 is greater than this 10, so we will change this 10 to a 12, and this 5 is less than a 12. So we are going to again write 12 here. In the third iteration we are going to fix this element. Let me create one more variable max. So max is initialized to 0, and then we are going to iterate over all the elements other than this 10 here. So we will go to the first element, which is 1. So 1 is greater than this 0, so we are going to write 1 here. This 11, so this 11 is greater than a 1, so we are going to write 11 here. Then this 9, 9 is less than 11, so no changes will happen. Then this 3 is also less than 11. This 12 is greater than 11, so we will replace it with a 12. Then we will move forward to this 5. This 5 is also less than 12, so we will not change anything, and we will write 12 here. So this 12 is the rival of this 10. In the fourth iteration we are going to fix this number, and we will calculate our answer similarly, and in the end we will get that our final number is going to be 12. So this 12 is going to be the best rival for this 9. And for the next iteration we are going to fix this 3, and if we calculate our answer similarly, it is going to be a 12. So we will write 12 here again. Now let's focus at the sixth iteration. In the sixth iteration we are going to fix this number, and now we will create a variable max and initialize it to 0, and now we will iterate over all the elements other than this 12. So when we will start our iteration from this element, this 1 is greater than this 0, so we will write 1 here, and this 11 is greater than this 1, so we will write 11 again here. And then this 10 is less than 11, this 9 is also less than 11, this 3 is also less than 11, and this 5 is also less than 11. So 11 will be final value stored in max, and we will write 11 here. And in the seventh iteration, that is the final iteration, we are going to fix this element, and among all the elements other than this 5, we are going to calculate our maximum. So that maximum is going to be 12, so we will write 12 here. And in the end, this answer is going to store our final answer, so we are going to return it. So from this example, we can see that the maximum value of array A, which is 12 in this case, is rival of every element other than itself. So here we can see that this 12 is the rival of first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and the last element. And rival of this 12 is this 11, which is the second largest value of array A. So from this observation, we can conclude that the maximum value of array A is the opponent of every element other than itself, and the second largest value of array A is the opponent of the largest value of A. Now, in order to calculate our final result, we need only two things. First thing is A max, which is the largest value of array A, and A max 2, which is the second largest value of our array A. With these two things in our hand, we can calculate our final result. Now let's analyze this process in our solution code. In our solution code here, we can see that we are getting a vector A as our argument, and then we are creating two variable x and y to store our largest element and the second largest element respectively. And then we have created a vector answer. So this answer vector is going to store our final result, and in the end we are going to return it. And then we are iterating over index from 0 to size of A. So we are iterating over every index, and then we are comparing the value of AI with the value of x. If AI is greater than or equal to x, in that case what we are doing is that we have found an element which is greater than the maximum found so far. So in that case what we will do is that we will store the value of the maximum in the second largest element, which is y, and then we are going to store the value of AI into our variable x, which was storing the value of the largest element so far. And in the other case, if AI is less than x but it is greater than y, so it is, let's say if this is the maximum element and this is the second maximum element, and AI is between here, let's say AI is here, then AI is not greater than the largest element but it is greater than the second largest element. So in that case we are going to store the value of AI in our variable y. So in the end here we are iterating over all the indexes from 0 to size of A, and here we are storing the answer of every index. So here we are checking the value of AI is equal to x or not. If that is the case, then AI is the largest value of our array A, and answer of I is going to be the second largest element. If it is not the largest element, then answer of I is going to be x, which is the largest element of our array A. And in the end here we are returning our answer. So that was the solution code for this problem. Now let's analyze the time complexity and space complexity of this solution. So the time complexity of this solution is going to be O of n, where n is the size of the array A. So this time complexity comes from the fact that here we are iterating over our entire array A to calculate the maximum value and the second largest value in our array A. So the time complexity is going to be O of n. So the space complexity of this solution is going to be O of 1, because we are not using any extra space and we have just created two extra variable x and y here. But the overall space complexity of this solution is going to be O of n, because we are creating a vector answer to store our final result. Auxiliary space is going to be O of 1, which is constant, but overall space is going to be O of n. So now we are going to solve the second problem of today, that is increasing sequence. So in this problem we are given an integer array A of n elements and an integer b, and let's store the even values of all the sub arrays of size b in an array of size n minus b plus 1, says even ARR. So the even value is the sum of all the even numbers in the sub array of size b, and for every index I from 0 to n minus b 0 index, find the product of the number in the special sequence of even ARR of I. So now let's understand what is a special sequence. So a special sequence is a strictly increasing sequence where the last element is even ARR of I, and if the size of the special sequence is m, then for every j from m minus 1 to 1, the difference between the indexes in even ARR of elements at j and j minus 1 is minimum and positive. Note, since the answer could be very large, output your answer modulo 10 to the power 9 plus 7. And constraint on this problem is that n is from 1 to 5 into 10 to the power 5, where n is the size of array A and A of I, which is the individual element of array A, is from 1 to 10 to the power 9, and B, which is the size of every subarray we have to consider, is from 1 to n. Now let's take an example to understand this problem. Now let's take an example of A equal to 4, 3, 5, 2, 9, 7, 6, 8, 10 and 17, and B equal to 4. And as we can see that there are 10 elements in our array A. So now we have to compute even ARR. Now in order to compute even ARR, we have to consider all the subarrays of A of size exactly 4. So for the first element of even ARR, we have to consider these 4 elements, and we have to calculate the sum of all the even element in this subarray. So there are 2 even element in this subarray, that are this 4 and this 2. So their sum is going to be a 6, so we have to write a 6 here. and for the next element of even ARR we have to consider a next window of 4 elements. So we will shift this window of 4 element one step to its right. Now for the next element of even ARR we have to consider these 4 elements, and there is only one even element in this window, that is this 2. So the next element of even ARR is going to be a 2. And now for the next calculation we will shift this window one to its right. So this is going to be our window for the next element of even ARR, and as we can see there is only one even element, this 2. So the next element of even ARR is also going to be a 2. And after moving the previous window one step to its right, we are going to get this window for the next element of even ARR. And as we can see there are two even elements, that is this 2 and this 6, and their sum is going to be a 8. So the next element of even ARR is going to be a 8. And now let's shift this window to its right. Then this element is going to be removed from the window and we have to add this element. So this is going to be our next window of size B, and we can see that there are two even elements, that is this 8 and this 6. So the next element of even ARR is going to be a 14. And similarly, after shifting this window one step ahead every time, we can calculate the rest of the element of even ARR. And after calculation, two next element are going to be 24 and 24. Now we have computed even ARR, and now for every index of even ARR we have to compute special sequence. And we can see that the size of this even ARR is 7 element, and n minus b plus 1, which is 10 minus 4 plus 1, which is 6 plus 1 7. So these two numbers are matching. It means that our even ARR is perfect in size. Now before computing special sequence for every index of even ARR, let's take a moment to understand what is a special sequence. So a special sequence is strictly increasing sequence ending at even ARR of I. So it is ending at the ith index, and the difference between the consecutive indexes in even ARR is minimized. So what does this mean? Now let's take an example that we are taking the second element, the third element, and seventh and the 10th element of even ARR in our special sequence. So now we want to minimize the difference between these two indexes, and then we want to minimize the difference between these two indexes, and then we want to minimize the difference between these two indexes. So we want a strictly increasing sequence ending at the ith index, and we also want to minimize the difference. It means we want the first element on the left side which is strictly less than the current element. So now let's compute the special sequence for every index, and we will write their product in our final result in answer vector, and we will return this answer at the end. Now for the first index 6, there is no element on the left side which is less than 6. So our special sequence is going to contain only this 6, and our answer is also going to contain 6 because we want the product of special sequence. And for the second element 2, there is no element on the left side which is less than 2. So our special sequence is going to contain only 2, and we want the product of all the elements. So the second element in our answer is going to be a 2. And for this 2, there is no element on the left side which is strictly less than 2. So our special sequence is going to contain only 2, and we want the product of all the elements. So we will write a 2 here. And for this 8, this 2 is the first element on the left side which is less than this 8. So our special sequence is going to contain a 2 and a 8, and we want their product. So we will write a 16 here, 2 times 8. And for this 14, the first element on the left side which is less than this 14 is this 8, and for this 8, this 2 is the first element on the left side which is less than 8. So our special sequence for this 14 is going to be 2, 8 and 14, and we want their product. So the next element in our answer is going to be a 224, 224. And for this 24, this 14 is the first element on the left side which is less than a 24. Then this 8 is the first element on the left side which is less than this 14. And then this 2 is the first element on the left side which is less than this 8. So our special sequence is going to be a 2, 8, 14 and a 24. And we will write their product as the next element in our answer. So we will write here 5376, 5376. For this 24, the first element which is less than this 24 is this 14. And for this 14, the first element on the left side which is less than 14 is this 8. And for this 8, this 2 is the first element on the left side which is less than a 8. So our special sequence is going to be a 2, 8, 14 and 24, and we want their product. So we are going to write 5376 here. So this is going to be our final answer, and in the end we will return it. Now in this method, for every element we want the first element on the left side which is less than the current element. So finding the first element on the left side which is less than the current element is very standard problem, and it can be solved using a stack. So one more observation that we can do here is that actually we are using few things that we have already computed. So for this 24, the special sequence was 2, 8, 14 and 24, and if we separate this 24 and then 2 into 8 into 14, and this value here is already computed. We computed this value while calculating our answer for this 14. And if we consider this 14, then our special sequence was 2, 8 and 14. And if we separate this 14 from this 2 and 8, then this 2 into 8 is already computed while calculating the answer of this 8. So here we can see that we are actually using lot of things that we have already computed. So from this observation we can deduct a formula of calculating answer of I. So answer of I is always going to be is equals to E1 ARR of I. So we are multiplying the ith element with answer of j, where the jth element is the first element on the left side, which is less than E1 ARR of I. If there are no element less than the current element on the left side, then our answer of I is simply going to be is equals to E1 ARR of I. So here we are considering that our special sequence contain only one element. Now we can divide our solution in 3 steps. So in the first step, what we will do is that we are going to compute E1 ARR using a sliding window technique. After that, we are going to compute what is the first smaller element on the left side using a stack. And after that, we are going to calculate our answer using these two formula that we already discussed. Now let's look at the solution code to understand how it is actually done in a code. So now let's first look at the code of computing E1 ARR. So first of all, we have created a variable mod to store the value 10 to the power 9 plus 7, because we have to compute our answer under a modulo. After that, in our function solution, we are getting a vector a and an integer b. And after that, we are storing the size of a in our variable end. And after that, we have created two variable I and j equal to 0 and a vector E1 ARR. And we have also created a variable sum and initialize it to 0. So this sum variable is going to store the sum of all the even elements in our current window. So first of all, we are going to create a window of first b element. So here we are iterating from 0 till b, and if a of j is an even number, then we are adding it to the sum and we are incrementing j. So here we have created a window of size b, and then we have calculated the sum of all the even elements, and here we are pushing the sum to our even ARR. So when we are reaching this point in our code, then the value of j is already b, and we have already created a window of first b elements. So in this part of the code, what we are doing is that we are sliding this window one step ahead. So here what we are doing is that as long as j is less than n, so initially j was here and I was initialized to 0. So what we are doing is that if a of I is equal to an even number, then what we are doing is that we are subtracting a of I from the sum, because now we want to move this window forward. So if this number was already in our window, then we have to subtract it. Then now we have to insert this number in our window. So if that number is an even number, if the jth integer is an even integer, what we are doing is that we are adding it to our sum. So we have slided our window to one step to its right, and then we are incrementing I and incrementing j, and we are also pushing the sum of the window into our even ARR. So now let's understand the second part of our code. So now initially we have created a stack. So in this stack, we are not actually storing the elements, we are actually storing their indexes in even ARR. Initially we have pushed 0 into our stack, and we have created a vector answer to store our final answer. And we have also created a long array PSE to calculate our answer. We have created this array PSE because our answer can be very large, and to calculate a modulo, it should not overflow. So we have created this long array, but in the end we want to return our answer in a vector of integer. So we have created an answer vector. And then we have calculated PSE of 0 is equals to even ARR of 0, and then we have pushed back PSE of 0 into our answer variable. And then we are iterating from index number 1 to n minus b plus 1. So this is the number of elements in even vector. So we are iterating over all of them. And for every index, as long as stack is not empty, what we are doing is that element store at the index of s top in even ARR. As long as that element is greater than or equal to even ARR of I, we are popping it. And after that step, if stack is empty, then our special sequence is going to have only one element. Then we are making PSE of I equal to even ARR of I. And in the else part, when our stack is not empty, we are making PSE of I equal to PSE of s top modulo mod multiplied by even ARR of I, and then again we are taking a modulo. After that, we are pushing the ith index into our stack, and we are also pushing PSE of I into our answer, and at the end of the function we are returning our answer. So this answer is going to store our final answer, and we will return it. Now let's analyze the time complexity and space complexity of our solution. So the time complexity of this solution is going to be O of n, where n is the size of array A. So this time complexity comes from the fact that while calculating even ARR, we are scanning over entire array A once. So for the second part of our code, every element is pushed to our stack at max 1, and every element got popped from our stack at max 1. So overall time complexity is going to be O of n. and the overall space complexity of our solution is O of n. So this space complexity comes from the fact that we are creating a vector PSE and we are also creating a stack. So both of these vector can have at max O of n elements. So that's why overall space complexity of our solution is going to be O of n. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe and share.